Today we're replacing the oil pan gasket on a Nissan Maxima. Pretty easy job. All that you need, of course, is new oil. We'll also swap out the oil filter in this case. Drain pan, real basic tools. In this case, it's a 10 millimeter nuts going around the oil pan. And of course, we need new gasket maker. In fact, on this car, there's no gasket. At the factory, they spray on a liquid gasket adhesion. So we'll do the same thing. And also I'll have a nice razor or a chisel. What the hell is my chisel? Yeah, one of these guys. That way you can scrape off the oil pan and just make sure the surfaces are real clean. We'll get into that in a moment. So let's go ahead and tackle the job. So of course the first step is we need to remove the oil from the oil pan. And of course when you do this, just make sure you have jack stands and a floor jack as well. So we'll let this drain, and I'll also remove the oil filter off camera, and might as well just do a complete oil change since we're doing the job now. So this happens to be a steel oil pan. We're going to remove these nuts now, going in a crisscross fashion. We'll do the exact same thing when we reinstall the pan. Now, right above this steel pan is an aluminum pan. So don't use a pry bar, don't use a screwdriver when you're trying to pry this off, because you can score up the aluminum pan and now you have more of an issue to deal with. So I'll show you the tool that we'll use to remove this steel pan, and then we'll apply new gasket, reinstall everything, and go in a crisscross motion, reinstalling the nuts onto the motor here. This is number 9. Now, of course, the next step is removing this oil pan, and I have a tool that's made specifically to do that. What it does is it fits in between the seams, and we just hammer it all around the circumference of this oil pan, or at least as much as we can, and that will loosen up the sealant, and we can pull off the pan. So let me show you how we're going to do this. So now, as you can see, you can fit your hands underneath here, or your fingers, and off comes the pan. Now is the fun part of cleaning up the mating surface here. And you can really use anything for this. This is a chisel. I'm also going to use a razor blade, but a chisel works nice because it gets the large gasket surfaces off very quickly, as you can see. Now, from the factory, Nissan doesn't use an oil pan gasket. They actually use a sealant, and we'll do the same when we reinstall this into the vehicle. So as you can see, everything is nice and clean. Take a little compressed air. Make sure you get all of the debris out of here. You know, you'll have residue from taking off all the old gasket. And then we have our new gasket maker here. Now when you tighten up these bolts, again, you want to go in a crisscross fashion. And they don't have to be very tight. In this case, only around 66 inch-pounds. Eight. And then refill your vehicle with new oil, and that's all it takes.